How are you? So, isn't it cozy here in this beautiful industrial style building in my city of birth in Mannheim, where I'm happy to welcome over 550 ALM professionals from all over the world. Pretty exciting, largest ALM summit ever. We are very happy to have you here to not only party with you, but also share the latest and greatest about ALM and network with you. And we are proud to have you here because you enable the largest business transformations on this planet. And you are actually, with that, making our customers more agile, more sustainable, and also more resilient. And you do that via implementing and operating SAP solutions with the help of SAP Solution Manager, SAP Focus Run, and SAP Cloud ALM. And the figures that I now show you about the success of Cloud ALM, it is the fastest growing ALM solution at SAP, are already outdated. 4 days ago it was 7,090 customers, now it's 7,158, and that shows our growth rates of 1,000 new customers per quarter that we are adding. When you look, you can say that are just tenants, they might not be used, but when you look at usage, actually, since beginning of this year, 6,000 projects were created in Cloud ALM by customers or partners, guiding our customers and partners through their business transformation. And in Cloud ALM for operations, every month we are inspecting 3.2 billion inbound signals, resulting in 30 million event actions requiring remedy for ensuring business continuity. So these are the usage numbers that we are currently seeing, the great momentum. And I also want to say thank you from my side for that great momentum that you support. Thank you. In the middle of our Cloud ALM strategy are the core capabilities of orchestration, supporting design, implement, and operate. But it is important for us that we have a very open ecosystem at SAP and our partners to complement Cloud ALM. And for that, we have actually integrated Tricentis and LeanIX already today. And I'm proud to announce that by November this year, we will also have SAP Signavio integration. Woo! We are also integrating into the most important document management systems, into the most important agile development solutions like Jira or ADO. Tricentis, our gold sponsor, was already mentioned. We are integrating into ITSM and ITOM solutions with ServiceNow and into reporting tools like SAC or Grafana. We also have our gold sponsors here that are basically doing a little bit special SAP-oriented work. S&P will show their integration of their selective data transfer tools into Cloud ALM as a booth there. We have Galileo Group. Galileo offers Conigma Connect. It's an integration platform with which you can connect all of the guys that you find here in a productized integration into Cloud ALM. And then we have Basis Technologies and RefTrack providing advanced transport automation, also advanced charm, already today with APIs integrated into Cloud ALM. So watch out for the booths of our gold sponsors. And again, thanks for sponsoring this event. Now, what is our problem statement that we are trying to address with Cloud ALM? We want to provide end-to-end transparency across 5 dimensions. We want to support cloud and on-prem. We want to support SAP and non-SAP. A lot of customers are not aware that we are also supporting non-SAP, but you will hear a lot from in our keynotes about outbound integration into third parties, but also via open telemetry inbound integration, so that you can also use, for example, Cloud ALM for operations for non-SAP. A lot of investments happened here. Third dimension is we want to support customers, partners, and SAP when it comes to transparency. When SAP is added as a SaaS or a private cloud operator, you suddenly have the challenge that you want to see our outages, if they occur, with your IT calendar. And that capabilities are actually available in Cloud ALM. And we want to really have a holistic support in implementation and operation, implementation from design to deploy, and in monitoring from the topmost business process monitoring down to health monitoring. So this is our ambition. These are the problem statements we are solving. Now, last year, you have actually challenged us with a lot of requirements. Yeah. Here they are. And I was really surprised that some of these requirements even came up in sales motions. So regularly, pretty much every week, we have to report on the progress of advanced charm to RISE customers. We are also always asked in context of RISE deals, what about ITSM integration of the customer ITSM with our RISE operating systems at SAP? And we will talk about them. Actually, all these topics will be covered throughout the whole day. And I took the freedom to cluster them in 4 areas, and this will be also the way that we run through that the whole day. These are our 4 priorities. First of all, we want to have Cloud ALM as an attractive alternative to SAP Solution Manager. Second, we want to have openness and extensibility. We want that partners adopt Cloud ALM as a standard delivery infrastructure, and we have investments in AI use cases in Cloud ALM. Third, we want to get better, and we'll update you on the integration into the business transformation management, LeanIX, Signavio, WalkMe, and so on. And fourth, we got an additional investment by Thomas Sauer, ESSIG, into RISE with SAP support. And that's our 4th priority, a specific support for RISE with SAP in Cloud ALM. And that was not a wish from you, that we actually give you as a bonus this year. Now let me explain a little bit my perspective of, is Cloud ALM an attractive alternative to Solution Manager? I mean, obviously there are, for the Cloud ALM side, a lot of pros. No-brainer for me is if you are looking for an operations tool or a service management tool, you would obviously go for Cloud ALM. If you have SaaS solutions, public cloud and PaaS, BTP observability specifically, we did a lot of advancements, go for Cloud ALM. These things would not be really available in that form in Solution Manager. Interesting is actually RISE, and obviously then with that also S4. There are also a lot of pros for SAP Cloud ALM when it comes to RISE, because we have a future-proof innovation platform designed to implement and operate cloud solutions. We still support cloud hybrid and on-prem. We manage fit-to-standard testing, quality gates, transports that's already available. So baseline charm, baseline focus build is there with PMO, reporting and traceability. We also have a much more advanced project and task management solution compared to Solman. We have single click and document flow in monitoring in Cloud ALM, which is not available in Solution Manager. We have a much more open API strategy. We have open telemetry that we support for inbound signals into Cloud ALM, and we have AI use cases. All these things are actually very exclusively available on Cloud ALM. And obviously there is the other argument that it's just a simpler and more standardized ALM process, which is much simpler to consume, less efforts to get it up and running, and basically no cost of operation because you're not responsible for the operations and for managing the agents and managing all the updates. So clear pros for Cloud ALM. I mean, what are the remaining cons? I would see them mainly in 2 areas. First of all, advanced charm use cases, and second, the strict process control and the constraints that a lot of you like when it comes to focus build. And then obviously the third aspect is also the support for regulated environments. And I promise you during this keynote, we'll talk very much in detail about those and explain you how we'll basically solve them on our Cloud ALM roadmap in 2025. I explained that we also have additional support for RISE with SAP. And yes, we have actually shipped a RISE with SAP methodology On Cloud ALM, for new implementation conversion, selective data transfer is currently added. We are already supporting all 5 dimensions of Clean Core with Cloud ALM, with the features you see here. And we make currently a strategic investment in really making sure that the Clean Core status, the Clean Core maturity that you have is analyzed and you get concrete improvement potential. Today, if we are very honest, we can't analyze whether a customer is, how clean a customer is in terms of Clean Core and how much he really adopts RISE. Yeah? And that is a capability and with KPI definitions and a measurement framework so that ultimately you see this spider graphs of the 5 dimensions of Clean Core. Investment area, 90 additional people we got for that, and actually a whole section that Wieland will, with some others, explain you in the afternoon. Another part in our strategy is to approach the most important RISE partners, because we found out that partners play a very crucial role in the decision for the ALM platform. And actually, we have started with the 8 RISE evaluated partners. You see them here. In total, we have a list of 25 of the most important RISE partners we are currently working with. And what we do is actually we approach top-down these partners, starting with the guy that owns all the SAP practice and the methodologies. And we are basically going in 3 different practices at the partner side: implementation, operation, and then BTP extensions. And we are running workshops. And the workshops are not just educational, but they are really intended to be a dialogue with the partner so that they embrace Cloud ALM as their standard delivery infrastructure. So we look at their tool chain and their methodology together with them. We infuse what we have, we infuse our APIs, we infuse how can you integrate your delivery tool chain with the Cloud ALM of the customer in all the 3 dimensions. Specifically in innovation, we also explain how BTP apps of partners and customers need to be built so that they are monitored exactly the same way as SAP solutions. So also for these parts of the partners, we have a messaging. Cool. So you will also hear much more on our API strategy later and our openness strategy. But I want to give you a glimpse of that motion that we are currently doing with our most important RISE partners. Good, we are running the keynote this time differently. Yeah? So far we had very few people on stage. This year you will basically see a whole plethora of top talents, customers and partners lining up. Now I would like to ask you to put your hands together and help me welcome on stage Markus Fleming, SAP Enterprise Architect, Lead Enterprise Architect at Mercedes-Benz. Daniel Enderli, our Head of Project Excellence at Swisscom. Lisa Sanders, our SAP Product Owner for Regulated Environments. And finally, Michael Kleffer, our Chief Product Owner for Implementation. And at that point in time, I would like to get Daniel over me. So Daniel, you're actually at Swisscom responsible for the project excellence and all your customers in Switzerland. And you told me that you are using Cloud ALM in all your engagements and you have even content that you always use as a starting point in the project. Is that really true?
That's really true. I will show you that in a couple of minutes. Thank you very much, Mark. Also, warm welcome from my side. It's a very honor for me to show you our journey with SAP Cloud ALM at Swisscom, especially from a partner perspective. And I will start with the keyword from the complexity. What you see is a beautiful Roman road. And think about how it is built. It's built simple, with one common goal: to reach the destination in a faster and more safer way. And that's completely what we have implemented in our customer project to reach the destination faster and safer. And that's a perfect analogy for SAP Cloud ALM. So the old Roman thinkers have a name for that. They call it the via negativa. to reduce complexity, to leave things away which are not very on your focus. And this is the methodology or the thinking, the mindset we are bringing into our customer projects based with Cloud ALM, because it's simple, it's very time, cost, and very efficient. So let's focus on the customer perspective. They love solutions which are simple, standard, and smart. And that's exactly the way we go with Cloud ALM. So especially for the small and medium enterprises, which represents 80% of the businesses worldwide, by the way, they are very, very happy, and we are very successful there with Cloud ALM. It's a perfect match because all the needs they have are perfectly fitted with Cloud ALM. Next, I will like to talk a little bit about what is the change for us as ALM experts. Back in the days, we are more on the technology side, keep all balls in the air. You probably know that because you keep the system running. Your focus is keep the system running. And now with Cloud ALM, we go to the sunny side of the iceberg, and we are leading the project. So not more leading the system, leading the projects. So a lot of our team members are now project leaders, methodology leaders, based with Cloud ALM, our content and our methodology. So it's a very, very positive way for us. By the way, we are also merged. The ALM team is merged at Swisscom together with the project leader team. We are now in the same team, and we are giving the governance. So the ALM experts are now, these days, the people which are measure the deliverables in the project, which are giving the track record and the whole reporting for the projects. These are the ALM experts today at Swisscom. Yeah, as I know, there was always a Shark Tank back in the days in the technology side, and now we are really in the pole position, in the cockpit, in the driver's seat. I think that's very a good perspective for us. So let's look about the partner content. As Mark mentioned that, we are using the standard apps. For example, we have a lot of quality gates defined for the projects. We can upload them, bring it into the projects very fast, very simple, very helpful. That's one side we need where we're using the standard apps. But also we have built today 4 extensions. 3 of them are Almatone-based extensions. The newest one is the Swisscom Process Genie, which I will show you on the next slide. But last year, we launched the Swisscom Consultor to staff the consultants to the projects and synchronize them with the Cloud ALM project. And we have the dual maintenance tracker. That was the first Almatone solution in place. You can buy it on the store, on the sub-store. And we have a lot of Swisscom data transformation tools also. So this is the newest one, the Swisscom Process Genie. Why we introduce it? Because in the start of a project, there is always the question, which process are in scope? Which process do we use at customer side? For that, to ask this question, we have to have interviews with, I think, 20 people to figure out which process do you need. Every one of these people knows the line of business, functionalities, we have put them together, and after months, maybe, we know which are the process which are this customer uses. Go further with that, we introduced this solution, and now we scan the system based with Signavio, Process Manager, Process Insights, get out based on the configuration, based on the system data, based on the usage, which process are in use. We bring them to Cloud ALM, build PPMN diagrams, and this is the base for us. So just from the beginning of a project, we have this process, we can build the scope, and we have a base to discuss with the customer. Not needed anymore to discuss with 20 people to figure out which are the processes which are in use. Yes, I'm coming to the conclusion. If we design own content, we ask ourselves immediately 3 questions. So have the content, like Socrates, have the 3 thieves. We also ask ourselves the 3 questions. Have the content added value? The main question. is the content reusable? Can we reuse it in other projects in the future? And can we preserve it or conserve it, like your vegetables in the garden? Conserve it now, use it later. And if we can answer these 3 questions with yes, is the standard content, we will consume it and use it in other projects. This is it from a partner perspective.
Cool.
Thank you, Mark.
I
Thank
love
you
it.
also. Thank you very much.
Cloud ALM being used at all projects in Switzerland by Swisscom, so I love it. So actually, there is now the one question that everyone brought with him or her to this summit. And that the question is, by when? By when will SAP Cloud ALM be able to replace Solution Manager, specifically in implementation? And I believe this is not rocket science. Do you agree, Michael?
Thank you, Mike. So yeah, we thought about that, and actually, let's compare it to rocket science. I mean, at the end, everything can be compared to rocket science, and who doesn't like rockets? I mean, here in the room, rockets and moonshots are really cool. So when we look at rockets, what's a good analogy for going there? And the first thing we thought about is, how about we talk about we're going from the Earth to the moon and we have a rocket. And this rocket consists of multiple stages. And the first stage is typically used to get off the ground. It's one of the heaviest things that you need to do. You need to get into an orbit. And that is what we did with Cloud ALM when we first shipped it, and we made Cloud ALM ready for customers that are cloud-centric. And we provide end-to-end support for customers in cloud-centric environments. The second step is, or the second stage is, and that was what Mike was just talking about, how do we make Cloud ALM ready for Solution Manager customers that are using Solution Manager today? The third stage, and that's when we are going to the direction of the moon, is how do we cover the complex scenarios then also with Cloud ALM? So especially the complex landscape scenarios that are there in future customers. And then the last step is, when we go to the moon, is always the landing pod and how do we land on the moon. And that is for us the regulated environment customers that have additional needs in regulations for auditors, for taking proof, and to also have end-to-end traceability for their complete projects. Let's have a look at the first stage. So making Cloud ALM ready for cloud-centric customers. And actually, we delivered Cloud ALM as an easy-to-use ALM solution. It works right out of the box. You can provision it within minutes. You don't need to run an own implementation project to get started with Cloud ALM. And I think when you look at the 7,158, what Stefan just mentioned, that are available today, this is really working because we can provision Cloud ALM really within minutes, and customers can start using it. And we have these 6,000 projects that are running just since the beginning of this year on Cloud ALM. And that's powered by our standard content that we deliver. And that is, of course, the Activate methodology with the roadmaps that are available for public cloud solutions like S/4HANA Public Cloud. We have the RISE roadmaps in there, but we also have roadmaps for SuccessFactors, for Ariba, and also for Concur and field class applications that are out there. We also have the best practice content, so the process content available for all of these solutions. And we are also open that partners bring in their own implementation content on both sides, like Daniel just mentioned. And the last one is the test content. So we partnered, of course, with Tricentis so that you can create your own test automations, but we also have the manual test content for S/4HANA Public Cloud and Private Cloud. And we have also, in the meantime, the possibility to connect automated test systems like the S/4HANA test automation system so that we also ship test automation content for public cloud, and we are working on to ship this also for more solutions like for RISE, but also for SuccessFactors and so on. The next one is we provide all the functionality for fit-to-standard workshops. So you can run your design, build, test, and deploy activities within Cloud ALM in a fit-to-standard manner. And we integrate SAP internal tools like CTMS for BTP transports, like CBC in the public cloud area for configuration, with Tricentis for test automation, the S4 test automation tool, cloud integration automation solutions, and even with SAP for me. And we have the open API so that partners and customers can integrate Cloud ALM into their existing landscape. And then we are continuously improving Cloud ALM, and we're running customer influence. So if you have any requests for this functionality, just join customer influence and place your request. And when it hits the vote barrier, then we will look into it and also see when we can put it on the roadmap. And this is the basis for us. So this is what we needed to build to get basically off the ground and to be where we are today. And now the question is, what do we still need to do in order to make Cloud ALM a reality for the majority of our Solution Manager customers? And that starts in the design phase with the Signavio integration. And we're keeping the tension high because I'm not going to talk about Signavio integration. We leave this for Frank in the afternoon to show you what we do there. But we're also working on libraries, we're working on the history, more authorization, and requested from customers also, of course, document versioning and the integration of document management systems like the BTP DMS so that you can upload your documents. In the build area, this is our most mature area. We're working on providing more fine granular authorizations. Then we go to testing, and we have the integration into the process hierarchy. We have test sequences. We have document-based test cases on the roadmap. We have authorizations and more fine granular authorizations, and also APIs that we need there also on the roadmap. And then we come to the heaviest part at the end, and this is the deployment or the charm part, as you all know it, where we're working on cross-system object logs, where we're working on transport checks, and also a transport check framework that can be used to integrate own checks. We're working on the downgrade protection, retrofit and retrofit automation, having conditional workflows, and also there, more authorizations, more fine granular authorizations, and APIs so that we can integrate with further tools. And then at the end, we also have analytics with quality management dashboards and our enhanced or extended cross-project reporting that allows you to run multiple projects in parallel in complex landscapes and also compare these to each other. Plus, what we also deliver in very soon are the data transfer tools so that you can move the data that you created on Solution Manager into Cloud ALM and leverage your investments into content that you created. And we know also that we have focus build customers and who use focus build heavily. We're also working on bringing in the constraints, the automations, the QA checks, and so on into Cloud ALM. And Mark mentioned the question is when. So we don't want to leave here without providing you a timeline. So we're working on a flight plan that really puts that on the perspective of from now till the end of next year. So our goal is that at the end of next year, we provide you with these functionalities. We will start, of course, with more authorizations, with the data transfer tools, and also with the Signavio integration. At the end of this year, then we're starting on the workflow integrations for the features. We will have test sequences, mass upload of test cases from Solution Manager also, test case and defect integration into feature, ATC checks, retrofit, cross-system object log, downgrade protection, and so on. And our target is that at the end of the year, we provide this either in Cloud ALM or we provide also APIs for partners to integrate into Cloud ALM. And I think this is also the part where we look at the room here, because we're looking also on our partner network that have very much experience in providing additional workflow customization, providing additional checks, providing additional automations that can be plugged in into Cloud ALM via APIs. And I'm very happy today that I'm not the only one showing you how we envision to go to Cloud ALM from Solution Manager, but I have here with me on stage Markus Fleming from Mercedes-Benz, who will show you what their road to Cloud ALM is. Yeah.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you to be here. Welcome. And yeah, from moon back to Earth, what is needed when you want to move on Earth? A car. Of course, you know what Mercedes stands for. We built the one of the most wonderful cars in the world. But what not everyone knows is what is IT doing at Mercedes-Benz. And let's have a short introduction in 2 points. What IT is doing and what is SAP is doing for IT at Mercedes-Benz. Everyone knows IT for example, IRD. That means building up Mercedes-Benz OS, the car itself. But we have also other areas where we use IT and have IT in place. For example, the IT for technology is a central unit for governance and management, supplier management, high-level design, and so on. And we have the IT for business units. And therefore, we have, for example, IT for sales. Everyone knows it. We use the car configurator in the portal of Mercedes-Benz. It is provided by my colleagues from the IT sales. We have other units, and amongst we have the IT for operations. And that's where I come from. IT for operations is responsible for the whole IT globally, which is used in the plants, from building a plant until moving the parts to build cars. Every application worldwide is provided by us, of the ITO, short for IT for operations. And now, what about SAP at Mercedes-Benz? We have more than thousands productive systems at Mercedes-Benz and 400 in the ITO, including, of course, the non-prod systems. And my team and me, we are responsible for all these SAP systems and managing the globally provided SAP landscapes and systems. And here you can see where we have the most use of SAP in the ITO in the logistics. All these dependencies between 2 points are delivery dependencies for parts or vessels or whatever. And we are using SAP through all these requirements. There are 4 big areas. We have powertrain, we have global logistics, we have the intralogistics and maintenance. And all these, more or less 4, exactly 3 areas have its own solution manager. Powertrain, global logistics, global supply chain for interacting between the plants, and the intralogistics, which resides in the plant and is responsible for all the material handling in the plant. And this is also our biggest template, our biggest landscape. I'm talking about 100 of that 400 systems belonging to those area, to this domain. Half and half, 50-50 of ECC and PIs, but they are distributed all over the world to realize the logistics with SAP. And we have decided a couple of years ago to go agile. And at the moment, we have 5 weeks sprints, have deployed 45 sprints or iterations. At the moment, we are with Faith on the way. 45 iterations, more than 12,000 user stories, countless changes and transports without any error, worldwide. Thank you. That's currently only possible with a solution manager. And to make it short, yes, we are the customer with the advanced charm demands, and this is reached out by and realized by this deploying nearly every aspect of the solution manager. But everyone knows that's why we are here. Cloud ALM is coming, and what is our strategy now from these more or less high sophisticated solution manager solution come to Cloud ALM. Of course, at the first step, we have to consolidate all of our solution manager instances. We have 3 big solution manager instances for the big areas, and yeah, it's a no-brainer. The first step, we try to merge and migrate the powertrain into the global logistics solution manager instance to have only 2 of them then at the end. Why this step at the first? The intralogistics is the most complex one, but in the second merge, of course, we put also the intralogistics into the global logistics template. Why into that? It is an intermediate system which is based on HANA and the most current system. It's up to date, and that's why we're using this one to consolidate all of our systems. But now we have to come to Cloud ALM, and there comes the so-called iPro or maintenance area in place. iPro is a system quite old as well as the others, used for maintenance and non-productive materials. That means toilet paper, pencils, shoes, and so on, which is needed in each plant, but not built or put into the cars. This iPro should be renewed and should be re-implemented by using a greenfield approach, and that's the optimal requirement or starting point to find out what Cloud ALM can do for us. And that's why we have implemented the new iPro Next Generation project with S4 on HANA, Greenfield, into the SAP Cloud ALM tenant, and trying out all the new capabilities and to support a real project. That means in parallel with a reintegration of iPro Next Generation. And this iPro Next Generation Cloud ALM tenant should be the target for now our mega super great solution manager where everything actually is then in. And you have seen the years. We have started 2023 with the first migration and merging the first 2. Now in 2024, we are currently in deep merging the second into the last one, have built up the Cloud ALM tenant, and want to migrate all the other functionality from Solution Manager in the next 2 years to have only a single Cloud ALM-based ALM system with all our functionalities which is needed for our quite complex landscapes here into one Cloud ALM. And this is the solution for the whole ITO, that means for all 400 systems, and is also the strategy for Mercedes as well. Have said a little bit about iPro Next Generation. It is a greenfield approach, and it's the best starting point. A new project, Cloud ALM, also new to learn step by step during the project is progressing what is needed. One teaser for Thursday, there we will present more details on that. We started with iPro Next Generation. Yeah, as you know, it is a very common situation. Everything from the ALM is built on mail, on personal contacts, on office documents, and so on. And experts doing the testing and bases doing the transport manually, on demand, etc. But there is no process. And that's why we started also with the IT processes, the ALM processes, to make them professional, based on the SAP Business Integration Suite approach, and of course want to use every capability which can be provided. And all the challenges, all the solutions, and some open topics I will present together with a partner of us on Thursday. And I want you to invite to come, then we can talk little bit more about all the details. And that's how we are very excited how Cloud ALM will scale with our requirements. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, Markus. Thank you, Markus. Yeah, and I can only encourage you to join Markus's session so that you learn how Cloud ALM is used at Mercedes for the iPro project, and also a bit more on the planning for the consolidation of Solution Manager into Cloud ALM. There are a few more things that I wanted to talk about, and that's more complex use cases. So, because some of you may have missed how we work, for example, with a deeper Signavio integration, additionally to what Frank will explain you. We're also working on providing concepts for template rollouts and global rollouts. We're working on integration of custom code lifecycle management. That's also a capability that we get asked by many customers. And you will see the first steps for that in the Rise with SAP methodology dashboard in the afternoon, where we do custom code analysis. But we're also discussing with the colleagues how we can integrate more of that functionality. And of course, it's about cross-landscape distribution and template protection. Also here, we're discussing concepts, how we can do that together with PE, so premium engagements, and partners to also cover these use cases on Cloud ALM. But one thing that is missing on the slide so far, and we've been asked by customers, what's our vision for the solution in Solution Manager? So you remember, Solution Manager always had this concept of a solution where we consolidate everything, and we have branches to differentiate what you're doing in different projects. And I want to share a quick glimpse of what we're currently implementing, or what we're currently also discussing and implementing on the solution concept. And looking at today, we are always working in a project in Cloud ALM. We have a bracket of a project. There you have your processes. There you have your documentation. There you have your tests. There you have your features that you deploy to production. And this is, of course, connected to your landscape. And on the landscape, we plan to support also N+1 landscapes, of course, because we're talking about retrofit and so on. But also we're connecting that to the project, to the libraries within the project. I mentioned that so that we have the first library live, and that's the application library, but we're working also on development library, configuration libraries, interface libraries, all connected to the landscape, and having that in this project. And then the next step is, of course, that we introduce a release to production. So you may remember also from Solution Manager that we had the activation part that moved stuff from a branch to the upper branch. And in Cloud ALM, we talked about simplifying this. So in Cloud ALM, we're talking about the project that you're working on. And as soon as the project is finished, you're releasing the content that is part of the solution to production. So code, of course, triggered by the feature, but also all the documentation, all the test cases and so on that you created will move to production. And then on production, we support fixes. So this is also something that you might remember, maintenance branch in Solution Manager, where you perform your day-to-day fixes, your emergency transports and so on. This will then operate on production in Cloud ALM. And of course, and that makes the world a bit more complex for us, we always need to think about how do we integrate this with LeanIX and with Signavio. So with Signavio, you will see the first integration today based on a project where we can synchronize processes into a project in Cloud ALM. With LeanIX, we also have the first integration for a project live so that you can link initiatives in LeanIX to Cloud ALM projects, and we can exchange landscape data. But also this, of course, needs then later on to react to the release to production and the fixing on top. So that's that. And that leaves me to the last part of the presentation, and that's how we land on the moon. And at the end, regulation. I thought, who can better explain that at Lisa? Because Lisa is our product manager for the regulated industries, and I'm happy that she will share some details.
Thank you, Michael. Yeah, good morning and a warm welcome also from my side. My name is Lisa Sanders and I'm the product manager for Cloud ALM for implementation here, in particular responsible for the requirements from regulated customers. And one of the major challenges regulated companies are facing using cloud software is being responsible for computer system validation, while operations and qualifications are responsibilities on vendor side. And last year, in our annual planning, we decided that Cloud ALM has matured enough to start rolling in requirements from regulated customers. And we delved into both operational and technical, as well as functional requirements. And I'm proud to present that all the relevant operational and technical information are now summarized in our Cloud ALM Security and Compliance White Paper. We outline our development process, product standards, data retention policies, and ISO certificates. And furthermore, you can now request an additional tenant, and Nicolas will share some more details on that this afternoon. And yeah, we are working on EU access, sovereign cloud, and also on a concept for a delayed production landscape. And on the functional side, we detected several functionalities that are needed for end users to implement GXP-relevant processes and systems. Those are, for example, versioning, and for documents, for test cases, for processes, and also completing the history for all relevant applications to ensure an audit log here. Then comprehensive risk management is needed in the project management area, and furthermore, test evidence functionality in the test management area. This should go along with enhanced traceability and reporting functionalities, and here we are working on a quality assurance dashboard, for example. Furthermore, electronic signatures, PDF export, archiving support, segregation of duty, and GXP standard attributes are required. So we will deliver increments of those functionality wherever possible, because those functionality are not only relevant for regulated customers, but might add value to our complete customer base. And in parallel, we will also work on an integration into validation tools. So from the outset, SAP Cloud ALM has followed a strategy of openness. We have, from the beginning on, we built APIs to extend and integrate our solution. And there are partners in the market and also here in the room and upstairs with centuries of experience in computer system validation, along with numerous tools to streamline that process. So our strategy is to open SAP Cloud ALM to partner products within the validation business. And in recent months, I have spoken to more than 50 people from 25 companies, and as a result, I would like to outline the 3 major integration scenarios that I see. That is, for example, a proper workflow integration, so that you can enable custom workflows and bring in electronic signatures. And there is a session tomorrow where you can learn about our POC, which we conducted with our requirement workflow approval API to integrate with an external workflow engine to bring in 4 6-eyes principle and also an electronic signature. Second, integration to validation tools to bring in validation content, accelerators, and also industry content. Here we did an end-to-end analysis how an implementation process interlinks with a validation process. And here our goal is to provide a harmonized and a redundancy-free process of implementation and validation. And last but not least, if you want to follow a clean core strategy and you might want to build extensions on BTP standard services. And there you might want to make use of cloud service qualification services and partners, or integrate with partners who provide testing as a service to complement this setup. So yeah, if you are interested and if you want to hear more, you can join my session on Friday. You can meet me at the booth Wednesday and Thursday, or you can join my customer community for regulated customers. So thank you for listening, and back to Michael.
Thank you. So thank you, Lisa, for sharing that. And actually, we're at the end of our presentation slot, and I will hand it back to Tonya, but not before. I mean, when JFK said we're going to the moon, he also said we're bringing the people back. And just for Mike, I can't see him right now, but he's there. So this is what we're going to explain next year, also how we get back from the moon. But we need that for next year.